Garmin has their new software update available for their Panoptic systems on the GPSMAP and echomap units, and this is one of the bigger updates that they've come out with since the perspective mode update. So I want to show you guys the different features that are available for the LiveScope system on here. So if you want to see if your unit's running this, you're just going to go into settings and system, and then system information and software information, and this is on a GPSMAP unit, which is software version 23. echomap units will be a different version, and as we go through this, the menus on an echomap will look a little bit different, but the terminologies will still be the same. You can take a look at one of my other videos, Garmin Panoptics, Everything You Need to Know. It'll be linked in the description and on the end screen if you want to see all the features of how LiveScope works. And I also have another video on the perspective mode and how all the features for that work. So take a look at both those videos after you watch this one. So to take a look at the first feature, we'll head into the menu. Then we're going to go to Sonar Setup and Appearance and Color Scheme. And this is where we have a whole bunch of new colors available. The one we're looking at currently is Aqua. And this one here is Caribbean. This one here is Floodlight. This one here is Ice Blue, one of my favorites, along with Aqua. Those are my two favorites on the new system here. This one here is Lava, and this one is Moss. And finally we have Rusted Steel. So Ice Blue and Aqua I think are going to be my two favorites on this. I really like the monochromatic type ones rather than the multicolored ones, but it's always up to your preference. There's no right or wrong. Any color is a good one if it works for you. One of the other features that they've added with this update is the ability to take the on-screen controls on or off. So as you can see, I'm adjusting the gain here with these controls, but they can clutter up the screen depending on how you have your range and depth set. So you can toggle that on and off by going into the Sonar Setup, then going into Layout, and then on-screen control you can toggle on or off. So if we exit back out, we can see that that is now turned off and we have a full screen view. One of the other features they've had since this has come out is the grid, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that on just so I can demonstrate the other new feature a little bit easier. So the other new feature is the bottom one there called Compress Range, and currently it's turned on. Now if I turn it off and back on, you can see how the grid changes sizes. So let me explain what's happening here.
So this here is the full even grid that's on the screen. All you can see, as you can see, all the segments are the same size. Now if we go back in and turn the compress range on, what that does is changes the segment sizes of the grid. If you look from 35 feet to back to the left to 0, those are larger segments than everything off to the right. This allows the information that's closer to the boat to show up on more of the screen to give you more detail, and then the stuff that's further away, you don't see as much detail in it. Now another feature that kind of goes along with that we'll look at next is the reverse range feature that they have. So again, this feature is in the Sonar Setup and Layout section of the menu, and you can see it's just above compress range there on the bottom, reverse range. So right now it's hidden, and you can see the 0 line is all the way over to the left. There's a few different settings in there. This is what the typical LiveScope would be default. It moves that 0 line about a third or a quarter of the way into the screen. And this is now on the minimum setting. You can see it moved it back a little bit, and then the full setting here will allow you to view completely behind you what the transducer is picking up. In this case, about 43 feet of water, almost a little over 30 feet behind the boat. So depending on what type of technique you're doing, if you were drop shotting, you may want to use a higher reverse range so you can see more of what's behind and below the boat. But if you're looking for fish ahead of the boat or fishing a piece of structure that is ahead of the boat that you're casting to, you can hide that reverse range, and then in conjunction with the compress range feature, you can see a lot of what's ahead of the boat. I think for general fishing, just using it in the default mode would be best. Now we'll come into the layout section of the menu again, and we have that beam icon there. So that's at the top right of your screen. You can see that the yellow line coming off the boat is the beam icon, and then we have different ways we can orientate that now. So now we have it set to beam up, where the beam is always facing the top of the screen, and then your boat and then the compass heading will rotate accordingly. Just to talk a little bit more about the colors that they have, these colors, these vivid colors came out with a previous software upgrade for the side view and down view features. And now I'm just setting the screen up here where I have my side view on the bottom and perspective mode on the top. I think the perspective mode is going to benefit the most from these new features. The aqua and ice blue, the floodlight, those are some great ones for the side view that we've been using, and now we have it available for the perspective mode. I think this is really going to help things out with that. Here we have the aqua side view down on the bottom and then the aqua perspective view up on top, and the clarity is just amazing on this color palette. So all those color palettes that I showed you on the forward view are also available on the perspective view, and I'll just flip through a few here so you can get an idea of what they're going to look like and which one you may find best, so when you get out in the water you can start experimenting with it. If we go to the LiveScope down, these features are also available, and just as a note, this is the LVS 12 transducer that we're looking at here, not the 32, so the 32 would give you a much wider range, but if for some reason you did buy the LVS 12, these new color palettes will be available on the down view as well. There's nothing for the compressed range though on down or perspective available yet. Don't know if they will come out with anything like that, but they didn't in this case. The beam icon is also here. That is one thing that they've added, and then the on-screen control also. So as you can see, you have your beam icon and your on-screen control available with the perspective view as well in this new update. So there you have all the new features from Garmin for LiveScope on this update. There are a few other tweaks on this with some engine gauges, and I think even Bob's Machine Shop jack plates with NMEA 2000 you can see on your gauge display now as well. But it was primarily a LiveScope update, so I wanted to cover these new features. Do you foresee yourself using these features like the reverse range, the compressed range, and the new color palettes? Which one's your favorite? Let me know in the comments below, and we can talk about it down there. Also, check the description box and the end screen for those two videos on LiveScope and LiveScope Perspective that I've already done if you haven't had a chance to watch those. And if you found this video helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and certainly leave a comment with any questions you may have.